Hi guys, welcome back to Garage Gym Session. So today we're going to take you through our top 5 tips for split squat. So number 1 is setup, which is probably the most important. So kneel down onto the floor, front knee at 90 degrees, back knee at 90 degrees, ball of back foot pushing into the ground. Keep the core engaged and stand up. Okay, there's your start position. Now, lots of people sometimes do this too far apart and sometimes too close together. This is a great default position because when you descend, everything's nice and evenly balanced and controlled. So that's number 1. So number 2 is direction when you descend. Now I see quite a lot of people get this wrong, which makes the whole movement harder for them, and it can overstress their knees more than they need to. So if we set ourselves back up again in the right position, you want to imagine you're in an elevator or a lift, not an escalator. So you want to go down and not forwards. So straight up and down versus kneeling forwards too much to carry your weight in this direction. Okay, so don't do this, but do this. It's just going to make everything a lot easier to control, and it's going to make the whole movement more effective with less stress on your joints.
Go ahead.
So number 3 is position, and that is largely to do with where your legs and feet are when you do the movement. So as a default, I've spoken about having your back foot raised slightly and getting into this 90-90 position. That's a really good starting point and foundation. Now, there's a couple of other positions you can get into. So the next one is a rear foot elevated split squat. So we're going to use the bench here. And that is harder because what it's doing is giving you a further distance to travel. So your rear leg is having to work harder, it's overloading the quad more. And you can also do a front foot elevated split squat. This bench is probably a bit too high for that. But again, it's just getting the front leg working a bit harder. So I would suggest if you are going to front foot elevate, which is a very rare exercise, to overload the hamstrings more, it's probably a bit high, you want to drop it down slightly. Rear foot elevated, you want to overload the quad. Otherwise, just stick to the default position, like I mentioned before, here. So you've got lots of options. Do what works for you and do what is linked to what you want to try and achieve or get out of doing this exercise. So number 4 is speed, and that is the speed of the descent and the ascent. So like many of the other exercises I've spoken through on this series, you probably won't be surprised to hear that I recommend a slower descent to give you control and some eccentric muscle action, and a quicker ascent to give you a little bit increased rate of force development and more of a concentric muscle action. So breathe in as you come down slowly, breathe out as you come out quickly, with a pause at the bottom with a little bit of a breath hold for some intra-abdominal pressure. And that's going to give you a lot of control and balance and stability when you do this exercise. So number 5 is progression. Now, all of our developmental exercises in our developmental series and playlists follow the same pattern. So we look to start with arms in front, arms across, arms behind, arms overhead for body weight control. And then we move to plates, goblets, dumbbells, double goblets and double dumbbells before we move on to the bar. So if you're new to this, follow through that and check out our other videos. I'll put a link below to them for those progressions. If you're at intermediate to advanced stage, then ultimately you want to get you stronger, so you're going to be able to, you want to be able to try and lift the heaviest weight you can as safely as possible with the most control. So here's some examples and progressions with the barbell. So there we have it, guys. I hope you find that useful. I'll put all of the aforementioned links below, and please drop any questions or comments below also.